We're going to start off today with trying to diagnose why the Skyline is still running rough. So we're going to start off with using this forbidden kit. This is a compression tester. This is going to tell us the health of the engine very quickly. Hopefully if we have time, we'll be able to install a new window motor and a window regulator, because recently I showed this window gets stuck and it seems pretty loose. I don't know if that's normal or not. You try and roll it up and then it just stops working and it's jammed. Another thing I want to try, if the engine does pass the compression test, is pull off all of the RB25 coils from this engine in my S13 here, because I know for a fact that they all work. It's just one more thing to try, plus they're really expensive, so if I have known good ones, I'll just try them out on this car. I think they're the same between RB25 Neo and RB20 Neo. I'm not too sure. This would be good information for us to verify. I'm also not sure if the cast is the same, so maybe we'll compare this as well. This did come out of an R34, so maybe, we'll see. And if you guys missed the recent video, this is actually the automatic transmission that we took out of the Skyline, because we tried to blow up this transmission by slamming it into reverse and drive, and somehow it survived, but we still pulled it out and swapped in a big box RB25. There it is right there. So alright, I guess we'll start with just popping the hood, taking off the intake. There we go. Now unfortunately this engine is a little more work to get to the spark plug holes, and that's because it has a stock intake manifold. And on the RB series, they always have a crossover from the factory. So luckily we can split it in half, like right around here, and then take all of this off. But then, you know, it's a lot of work. Could be worse. We could be working on a Camry.
Dude, this battery's tiny.
And the terminals too, isn't that cool?
Dude, it's like a Prius.
I think it actually is a Prius battery. I think it really is.
This is literally the same as a Prius. Voila.
Alright, now all these 10 mils.
Last bolt.
Six. Also lean.
They all look exactly the same. This one looks a little more black around here.
They don't smell like fuel, right?
This one kind of does. The rest of them don't.
Interesting. Well, I guess we can throw on the compression tester now. Now taking out all the spark plugs will create less of a drag for the engine while it's cranking over, so it's not going to wear out the starter as fast, or the battery. We did run this engine before taking it apart. It's not like fully warmed up, but it's not ice cold. You know, it's not a cold start. So the cylinder walls and the piston rings have been at least somewhat seated, so we'll get a somewhat accurate reading instead of it just being a straight cold compression test. We decided to use this kit in particular, not because of the brand or the price, but because these fittings are attached to the hose. I've run into issues before where you thread this into the head, and then some compression testers use fittings here that will get stuck inside the head. Super annoying to try and get those out. So with it being attached to the hose, you have less of a chance of fighting to get that out later. Really curious, do you think this engine's blown? Or do you think it's fine?
I'm hoping that it's fine.
I have a feeling it could be fine, and it's just a fuel issue. Oh yeah, how many miles? This thing has just over 90,000 kilometers, which is like, what, 50,000 miles?
Around 50,000 miles, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. All right. I don't even know what the spec is for this engine. I'm just gonna record them all, see if they're all within the same range. So I guess we'll start with number one. So we're trying to find the fuel pump fuse, so when we're cranking it over, it's not squirting fuel all over the place. And we couldn't find anything obvious on the fuse box that's right here. I figured we should pull a fuse panel inside the car and then translate what it says. It's all in Japanese, so I have no idea. So I opened Google Translate, and this app is so cool. You like detect the language. Okay, now we gotta zoom in and figure all this out. It's so tiny. Injector.
10 amp.
Dude, right there, injector.
Fuel pump's right, two above it. 15 amp fuse.
Oh, okay, perfect. So, oh, and it tells you an arrow.
120 for cylinder 1. Just below 120.
Below 120.
110-ish.
Oh, man.
Now this cylinder is going to depend on if you're spending $4 grand tonight or saving $4 grand tonight.
Are we buying a new engine or are we buying a fuel pump?
Cylinder 6. Cha-ching.
Okay, well that's relief that the engine is healthy from what we can tell based on compression here. They're all within the same spec, nothing too out of the ordinary. I guess we'll put all of that back together, and you know what, let's go ahead and take off the coil packs from the RB25 and just add that to the mix of diag here, since we know now the engine has compression, so maybe the coil packs were the issue. I will say these coil packs are known to go out over time, and a lot of people say the reason is because of the design of this cover here. Basically it traps in the heat. Coil packs don't like to be that hot, and they short internally over time, so maybe that's the reason. It's worth trying. I also don't know if they're the same, so we're going to compare them. These are the ones we took out of the 20, of course. By the way, this is how cold it is. The harness stays perfectly intact. Alright, I'm just going to take one of these out and we'll compare it. Looks the same to me. There you go. As long as it's a Neo, I guess it's the same. On second thought, we decided to clean this thing up a little bit. Not exactly like a nice paint job, but you know, might as well clean it up.
Crusty.
It's crusty. And it's R34, it can't be crusty. Got the time, let's do it. Let's see. Some good old parts cleaner. This will clean some parts up. Yeah, right in front of the heater.
You ever done that?
Much better. A little brake clean. I know the valve covers are still cooked, but we'll get there eventually. I gotta do the valve cover gaskets on there. It looks so much darker, doesn't it?
Yeah. Should give it, how much more horsepower do you think?
Easily 10, just from cleaning the dirt off. If we let this thing idle for a few minutes, it would have definitely been idling way rougher, and it's still smooth. So I think we're gonna take it for a test drive. I think possibly the coil packs could have been the issue, but all 6? I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll test drive it and really verify it. It happens mostly during acceleration, light acceleration.
When we drive it.
Yeah.
It's already so much better.
Dude, it drives.
Dude!
It drives so good.
No way! Oh
I
my.
think we might have fixed it. Just coil packs was the problem. Easily gained like 80 horsepower.
Yeah, you guys have no idea how slow this thing was.
I still might put a fuel pump in it.
Yeah, might as well,
This
but
feels way better.
what the hell?
Let's do a short loop.
Even like just regularly driving, it was like
Yeah.
hard to drive it smooth.
It was really hard to drive because it would like hiccup, like you
Yeah.
feel the whole car shifting. I will say it didn't feel like a hard miss. It felt like a constant random partial miss. Coil packs, who knew?
No way. Dude, it actually feels like a lot faster.
Doesn't it?
Like it used to be so slow. Like
I
it's not
agree.
fast, but
Yeah, see the windows jam too. That's alright, we'll get to that. Let's hit the e-brake locks. E-brake locks and ABS works. That's crazy. Yeah, she's running mint now.
open diff.
It's still slow, but it drives smoother. The engine sounds different.
It really does.
Hell yeah. Well,
I can't believe it was just coil packs.
yeah. So it was most noticeable driving smooth. So we weren't just beating on it, but driving smooth right now feels great. Like right now it'd be hiccuping, but we're just cruising. I thought for sure it was like a sensor. Had no idea coil packs would have that much of an effect.
Wow.
Yeah, I learned something today. So I went ahead and took off the door panel, and it looks like this might be our access hole. Maddox was saying it looks like this bracket could come off, and we're gonna slide it out this way because this is a framed door, so it's not like the window can easily slide out. This is what the new one looks like. To my surprise, this is a factory OEM part. I was able to find it new. There's the part number. Unfortunately, it looks like the motor is discontinued. It was either discontinued or like crazy high, like $300 or $400. This is an aftermarket one that I found on Buyee, so hopefully it'll, you know, do the job. Apparently this is a common problem because there's a lot of parts for window stuff on the R34 sedan. What I'm starting to think is maybe this plastic piece is what has failed. So it looks like this is what the window bolts to. And then the play on this window is crazy. Wow, that's pretty loose. Oh. Try not to get this on your clothes because it won't come off. It's nice that they labeled it right with the arrow going forward. Probably only fits one way. We got that bracket off. Now let's see how we're supposed to get this regulator off. I'm gonna compare the new one to see where the bolt holes are supposed to be. I'm not sure which way's up. This look right? So we got the window taped up here. We had it lowered down into these access holes so we can get these bolts off. Surprisingly, there's only 2 bolts that hold the window on. That's pretty crazy. All the bolts have been removed from the regulator. Now we just gotta try and fish it out. Looks like there were some hooks holding it on. This is tight. Actually, the window might have to go all the way up. I think it's binding right here. Man, okay, remember that angle.
Yep.
For going in. Should be good. Yeah, here, give it a wiggle. It has some play. Doesn't seem horrible, does it?
No,
I mean, look at the evidence in the track. There's definitely a lot of material lost. So this mounts like this. Had the hooks on the outside, right here, and right here. So let's make this one look the same. This is where the 2 bolts are for the window mount. Here's the play on the old one. Here's the play on the new one.
Way better.
Way better. There's still some, because you don't want it to be like tight. It even has play this way. Oh, this one does too. We got the motor and regulator ready to go back in, but there's a very important thing on these instructions here. You can very clearly see in this diagram they left us that there's a reset button on the motor. That's going to reset where the window is set to top dead center. So this lets the motor know, okay, this is the top. So that way when the auto up feature goes on, it doesn't keep trying to force it up. So I'm not sure if we're even gonna have access to that button when we install it or where it'll be. Yeah, this is the little button right here. Never done something like this before.
Me neither. I've never had a...
Wait, that might be accessible like right here.
Could be.
Cause look, these are the threaded holes and this is the hook. That goes right here. That hole is probably where that is.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is nice. It's greased up though. It came pre-lubed.
Ready to go.
You're able to slide this thing in. Honestly, a lot easier than I thought it'd be. This job was very intimidating because sometimes windows, regulators, and motors can be very, very tight to get to. I mean, Maddox works at a shop. He's had plenty of experience with some of these harder cars, like anything American, right?
Anything American.
But this is really simple. This has been, what, 15 minutes
Even
in?
like the 90s Honda crank windows are sometimes a pain.
Really?
To line up and get right and crank up smoothly.
Okay, so now we see this tab.
We're going to want to align the bolts with the witness mark they left just to be safe and make sure this is aligned properly.
Definitely. Looks like there's not too much wiggle room, but there is enough that we want to make sure it's exactly where it was. And you can see this tab here. We're gonna have to lower it all the way back down to this spot, which is cool, actually, that the regulator was already set in this position. That's not all the way down either. It's like at the right height to where you would want to access this hole.
Reset button.
Oh yeah, the reset button is actually accessible.
Just barely.
Thank you, Nissan. Dude, it works so good. Alright.
Reset?
Yeah, hit the button. I don't know how hard you gotta push it. It like barely looks like a button. Alright, try auto up. Dude!
That was so easy.
That was honestly the easiest motor regulator I've ever done. It's so fast too.
Dude, it's quick. Auto up and down works perfectly.
I'm ecstatic on that. Damn.
That's awesome.
I really wondered what was the problem here. I feel like the motor and maybe the regulator too. Like it was probably a mixture of both of them. Wait, roll it up a little bit. Let's see how much play it has.
Melt.
Yeah, right there. Oh, it does still have some play. I mean, it's only bolted right in the center here, so that kind of makes sense.
But it works great.
It does work great.
Look at how fast.
Damn, one more thing off the to-do list. I love that. I don't think there's many issues left on it. I wanted to fix all of the issues before I started modifying it, because to me, I need a fully functioning car before I slam it to the ground, you know? You don't want it to be dirt nasty low with windows that don't roll down.
Me and my E36, all window regulators are broken.
Are they?
They're a pain to change.
Damn. Beamer
Not
things.
this easy. This was literally so easy.
Yeah, this is very easy. Is there a point of putting that plastic stuff back on? Back together. Man, so good.
I could play with this all day.
Now that we got the window working and the engine running right, I figured this would be a good time to also do the timing belt. A lot of times when you import a Japanese car, and I've seen this a lot, they'll have the timing belt sticker somewhere on the engine bay. But unfortunately, mine did not have the sticker, so I'm just going to assume that it was never done. And I'm sure it's past due. I mean, it's 25 years old. So what we have here are a couple OEM parts. We got the idler and tensioner. We got the tensioner spring. Got the water pump. And then we also have the timing belt. These are all OEM from Nissan, and to my surprise, it actually says Pitwork on it. I didn't know Pitwork was an OEM supplier, but there you have it. It says Nissan Motor Co. on it, and made in Japan, so it's a safe bet. And to get started, we're probably gonna take out the radiator for better access. I even went ahead and purchased new radiator hoses. Not that these are bad per se, but there's some evidence of corrosion. Plus, again, they're just old and might as well do the maintenance while we're this deep. And we're not messing around today, so we got an extra strong heater because this thing was not cutting it. I'm so professional with it. I need to get one of those pullers. I don't know how I've gone this long and have no.
They're so cheap.
Yeah, such an easy tool to get. Well, we found our first interesting piece to the puzzle here. What do you got in there? Oh, that was inside. No way. Is this part of the manifold?
Nah.
Dude, it might be.
That's crusty coolant, I think. Yeah.
Well, look at the manifold. It's yeah. Yeah.
Squeeze. Ready?
That's so bad. It's like steaming too. It's hot steamy poo.
This isn't even part of it. I don't think. Dude, that's just rust.
I thought these were aluminum. I didn't realize they can corrode that badly.
Probably aluminum with the steel insert.
Oh, you're right. It does look zinc plated.
Yeah, that's just rusty.
Well, that's not good. You can see this is where the ridge is supposed to be, right at the edge.
Yeah, it's just part of your outlet.
Got the radiator free. Next we're working on getting the fan off the water pump here. Got a lot more space in here now. Just working on taking the belts off next. Next step looks like taking off the cast, front cover, and the hardest part, I think, of this whole job, the harmonic balancer. So we've got this 27 shallow, so hopefully we can fit maybe an impact on it. Pre-mark the cast, it's in the right spot. Oh, it's only fit one way.
Yeah, it's like a Honda.
Oh, just like the Hondas, yeah. We're gonna see if we can tilt forward this AC condenser. We were able to unbolt some brackets. There's a lower bracket here that connects to the core support. So we're hoping we can push it away enough to push the condenser back far enough. Oh, that might actually work. Oh, it's in. All right, broke it loose. I'm gonna take out the impact.
Careful, SpongeBob. That came off easy.
Yeah, but now we gotta hope this comes off easy.
Yeah.
beefy. Everyone's got a video like this on their camera.
Oh yeah, they're threaded.
They are?
Yeah. I can't see if it goes to like anything though.
We ended up threading the bolt in a couple more threads just to make sure that didn't fly off. I'm surprised that method actually worked. The next step is the cover. A couple 10 mils. We'll see what this belt's looking like. You think it's gonna be dry rotted?
100%.
I think so too. Dude, did you see the video with the belts? They're like chunking off.
Yeah.
I wonder if the belt's gonna look like that.
We'll find out. Two different type of people in the world.
Here, get this one.
Commission versus hourly.
Straight up. Wow, that was very polite.
Very.
Ooh, what do we got on here? Oh, it's cooked.
It is very dry.
It's so bad. There's a lot of play here. That's how you know it's bad.
That's good. You could probably pull this thing off with your fingers.
You know, oh my gosh. No wonder why this thing is running so poorly. There's play here, and here. That's so bad. That's really bad. Just so you guys know, this should not be able to happen.
Don't do that because the cam's probably gonna...
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's probably the worst belt I've ever seen, other than a snap belt.
That's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
We're playing a dangerous game.
This is why maintenance is very important, you guys. Highly recommend the not so fun stuff. Ooh, I'm seeing the tensioner spring in there. It's super rusty too. Glad I got a new one. We gotta be careful not to lose this woodruff key on here. So bad. I've never seen one stretch this much. There's even play down here. That's insane. I can spin this.
That's so bad.
Freely.
Oh my god.
Let's set this thing to top dead center and then take it off. I want to set it to top dead center so that we can take it off and know that we're not going to smack any valves while we adjust the cams and crank. And we're noticing the belt flexing a tremendous amount. This is the first dot we lined up, and that lines up with this mark. And there should be one down there. And then we also have a dot on this cam. And of course, same thing lines up with that hash mark. The bottom pulley has the dot that lines up with the, what would you call this? The engraving. Right here, there's a little spot. Should we try pulling it off without taking off the tensioner?
I guess.
Intrusive thoughts? No way! That's insane.
That's so bad.
Pulleys weren't too bad. How's the belt?
Crusty.
Oh yeah. The fold test.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not good.
She had a couple 100,000 miles left in her.
Oh yeah? It's crazy. This thing only has like 50,000 miles on it. But 25 years.
We actually just pulled that belt off with our hands.
With it fully tensioned. Ooh, what was the torque spec there? So idler's on the right. I want to make sure that we remember the orientation of the spring. It's pretty important. Damn, that's tight.
Oh my god. Another washer.
How's the spring look?
Crusty. Is this supposed to be that loose?
I don't know. It does look pretty loose.
It's a new one.
Yeah, where is it? New one here. Oh yeah, it is pretty loose.
Okay.
Alright, so let's match that up. So this one's a tensioner. You can tell because it has the 2 circles on it. This one's a single. You actually tension it down with this Allen key. You rotate the whole assembly.
That works.
Looks like this one had some washers with it too. Now we can finally take off this crusty water pump. This will help improve the look inside the bay because this is visible. Obviously, you know, everything behind the timing belt and timing cover we can't really see. Oh, it's on there. We might need the mallet. Oh, damn. Oh, right into the fan. Perfect. How crusty? Not bad.
too
it
bad.
definitely sat for a while. Look at how it's rusted on the half side.
Like that.
Damn.
This thing's sat for a while.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. We were trying to
That
discuss.
explains this.
We were trying to discuss the corrosion here is not normal, so it's probably sat for a while because if it was getting heat cycled, that wouldn't build up.
Dude, there's like a fine line too. You can see
Definitely.
like perfect line right here.
Seriously. The block doesn't look bad in there. That's super, super relieving. It's nothing like this.
Makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, me too. It's all clear too, or I guess green, you know, but you can see through it, it's not cloudy. Now before we put all the new shiny stuff back on, I think we're gonna clean up all these surfaces and just make sure everything's nice and tidy before we go all back together.
We just finished cleaning up the area around the water pump and where the gasket sits. It doesn't have like a metal style gasket, it's just RTV. But when I take the water pumps off any car, or even just anything that has a bunch of bolts, I like to put the bolts back in where I got them from into the new part in case they're different lengths. Because if you can see here, this part's thinner or thicker, so the bolt's going to be a different length most likely. So I just put the bolts back so I don't mix them up. Mike's cleaning up
We're
a
gonna
very
see.
nice outlet.
We're gonna see what's left of it. Oh, is it dead?
Got a little sidetrack.
Oh man, quick polish job? Dude, why does it
Look at
look
the
so
job.
good? Usually you put the short side in. Finger tight's fine, and then when you tighten in the clutch fan, it'll tighten the rest of the way in for you. RTV fully secured, ready for reinstall. It's crazy how it goes across the whole block.
Yeah, it is pretty long.
It's a long john, as they say. Got the water pump fully installed. Gasket's nice and seated. All the bolts are torqued down to spec. Next, we're getting ready to throw on the tensioner and the idler pulleys. So I got the 5 mil ready actually. This is what we're going to use to actually tighten this down. But remember, we need to put the spring on the spring perch, I guess they call it. It's this stud right here. So it goes this way. And then like that. That one had a washer and a lock washer with it, didn't it?
Yep, it's a thick washer, lock super thin washer.
Oh, it's a wave washer. Yeah. Okay. Sick. Then we had the idler next. This one also had a washer. Fits perfectly into the groove. Next, we got the belt. I'm so excited for this. It even comes with a sticker, which we'll fill out later. Now, the cool thing about this belt is it has timing marks on it. You know how we aligned all these marks. The belt has a mark on it as well. Makes it super easy to install it. It's one of my favorite things about using OEM belts on the RB series engines. I'm not sure if any other manufacturers are like that. If you've dealt with something like that, comment below what you have run into. We've determined that the hash mark, with it facing forward, I didn't know there was a difference, but that's pretty cool. The hash mark is the front left, so like right here. That's where the hash goes. And then this will be a solid line. And then there's one on the bottom that we discussed earlier. That one's also going to be a solid line on the belt. Pretty cool. Makes it super easy, right?
Very easy.
Because you're not like guessing, like, oh, is it on the right tooth? You know, is it one tooth off? No, it lines up. A good general rule of thumb when you're putting on a timing belt, you usually want to do the longest run last. Now in this case, both tensioners are in the same spot, it looks like, so either or cam.
Just so you guys get for reference, we were able to take this belt off with our hands when it was on this car, and now it's a pain to put it on.
With no tension too.
With no tension.
It's this hard to push on, fully untensioned. We got it all lined up. All we gotta do is snug it now. That's crazy. That last one was really bad. There we go. Man, it's so satisfying. Here's how we tension it. Got the 5 mil on there. You actually turn it to the left. Now I've made the mistake before of making this too tight. And when you do that, it makes a really loud whining sound, like not good. It makes your belt obviously prematurely fail. Luckily I was able to replace it in time. Not that it was like gonna blow up, but there was indications of it being stretched out, so I definitely don't want to over tighten it. It's tightened down, do a belt check. Now that we got the belt on and tensioned, we're gonna do just a check. This is common to do in shops. Rotate 2 full revolutions and then re-verify all the timing marks line up and the tension of the belt.
We're gonna go by the Woodruff key of when we've gone around once.
Yeah.
Or you can go by these marks here.
Right.
Well, they won't line up.
These go half to 1.
So there's 1.
All 3 line up. Good to go back together.
Oh yeah.
I almost forgot one of the most exciting steps, putting the timing belt sticker on. Now something cool I noticed that I haven't seen before is it has this flap. Now you can write on here, this is like papery, and then this acts as a clear coat. So you basically take off this film and fold it down, and it'll protect your writing. And I also translated it, that's what it says. So on the bottom, it's supposed to be the current mileage, which is about 91,000. Can you believe I've already put over 4,000 kilometers on this thing? Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this looks like where the sticker should be. It's got a nice little cutout for it. This is also where it says timings due 100 km. It only feels fitting to put it here. And here's the translation for that sticker. Now we are making great progress on this thing before our road trip. As I mentioned in a previous video, we are planning to drive down to Tennessee, down to Florida, and then up to Connecticut and back to Illinois. We're calling it the Triangle Triumph. We're going to be doing that during February of 2025, so stay tuned for any updates. I might be trying to host like a car meet or something in each town or city or state or whatever. Just something to get to know you guys and get familiar with the area. But alright, we got a new timing belt on. Let's go see how this Impala drives. First test drive with the new belt, I gotta admit, the engine, it's not that it feels like faster per se, but it feels more fine-tuned, I guess. I'm sure that there was some slop happening within the cam gears based on how much slop there was in the timing belt. It just feels way more sound right now. It's way more responsive. Yeah, it's still slow, don't get me wrong, but it's better. It's dialed in. It's a nice cold winter day. Perfect day to get some exercise in. Gotta stay fresh. Unfortunately, the skate park has snow all over it, so we're just gonna do a couple flat ground tricks over here in the tennis court. Shoeing up.
Shoeing up.
It's so cold that the bushings are like frozen. Alright guys, I think that's where we're going to end today's video. We are almost completely ready for the Triangle Triumph. I still want to do a couple more maintenance items as well as obviously lower the car and put new wheels and tires on it. But we'll save the fun stuff for later. We've got to knock out all the maintenance first. Guess we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.